I have never in my entire life been asked if I could have a selfie with someone. I don't know, I felt like a celebrity. It was great. So we're talking about Brighton SEO again. Nathan's favourite subject, isn't it?
I think we've got as much airtime as we possibly can out of that one talk we both did.
Why not? It's a big deal. What made you do it?
I think it was watching the sort of virtual ones. Obviously, I've attended Brighton SEO sort of religiously for the last couple of years. And I think, I was sitting at home, hearing some of the other talks, and they sort of inspired me. And so I say I'd like to talk around that topic. I think I've got something sort of fresh and relevant. I just had the topic sort of came to me. So one lunchtime on a whim, I just went, I'm going to go for it.
After a couple of beers?
Not a lunchtime, thank you. Just submitted. Obviously, it's quite a short process in terms of the topic, but as long as you've defined it, given a few options, and then sort of the ball's in their court, sort of just decide which is the most relevant. And then, heard back fairly quickly. Should we touch on how I found out and how supportive my colleague Levi was?
Yeah, well, we know what made me do it, which was you, basically. That phone call, I was drinking coffee and sitting on my laptop, got a phone call from Ollie, and normally decline, just to be annoying. And Ollie was like, come on, I did feel a little bit bad when I then answered the phone to you and you were like, I got accepted for Brighton. It's like, oops. My bad. And then you were like, come on, you should do it too.
Yeah. I don't know if the rationale was also I knew it would be great for you to do it as well, but equally, I want someone to share
You wanted someone to share the stress, didn't you? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it was coming from a nice place, but equally it did help me as well.
I then did the application, gave them 3 ideas, I think, 2-3 ideas. And they picked one for me, which is nice because I hate making decisions. And got accepted not long after I applied, didn't I? Actually found out while I was waiting for my COVID jab, which was quite exciting because, getting a needle in the arm versus finding out you're speaking at a massive conference is, makes it all better, doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly.
How did you prepare?
I went, we talk a lot about insights here, and sort of the blue, very detail oriented. I quickly pulled together sort of the starting point based on another presentation I've done internally, thinking there's a lot of crossover here. I think there's a lot that we can reuse and repurpose. Turns out that wasn't the case at all. And I had to strip it right back based on that. And then did the run through, found out that I was considerably under the 20-minute sort of guidance and threshold.
It was 11 minutes, wasn't it?
11 minutes, yeah. And I found out about a week before I was supposed to submit it that I got about 50% of the content that I needed. So then it was a case of adding to it, making sure that what I was adding was actually relevant and not just adding content for the sake of it. Because there were other talks that were less than that, because that was sort of where you wanted to get to. That's all you wanted to cover in that topic. If you start talking about different areas, then it becomes bigger than that talk, where they try to make it on a niche topic rather than talking about keyword research as a whole. It's sort of my area was very specific within that.
Yeah. I think it's quite easy to go down a rabbit hole, isn't it? Doing adding way too much in and having to rush through the slides and, feel like you've got to get so much in so that it's valuable for people. But actually a lot of the time, because you do it every day, it's valuable for them because they don't do it every day. I had the same problem. I was like, how do I actually make this really valuable for people? And obviously I had a lot less slides than you because I am the complete opposite in terms of slides last minute, everything was done last minute, perfectionist obviously because all my slides are perfectly formatted, always are. But everything being done last minute, I was worried about not having enough content in my slides. But then I did the run through and I hit like 17 minutes. And I was like, perfect.
Yeah.
One shot wonder as usual.
Yeah. Whereas mine was 138 slides in 20 minutes.
Yeah.
A lot of those were individual bullet points.
Yeah, you did the fancy clicky thing.
Yeah. Slow reveal bullet points. So yeah, that was good. The fact that in the end I was happy with how long, but I was definitely coming down the route of trying to add too much in there. I think that's the big takeaway that I would recommend to someone else, is sort of trust yourself, trust the topic that you're talking about. You're obviously you're an expert in that field, hence why you've got that opportunity.
Yeah.
I was going down the route of, I'm going to fill it with as much as I can, basically, so that everyone in the room will take something away, even if they know that to an extent already, and they might not know this, but I would definitely recommend just keeping it streamlined, having more time to make more impactful, sort of just flicking between slides rather than feel like you're up against it. And obviously we had the helpful countdown timer, which went red when you're in the last 5 minutes.
Horrible timer.
Which I thought mine went quite well. The first 10 seconds was a bit ropey. Then I got into the flow until the moment where you saw the red hit for 5 minutes, and I wobbled for about 30 seconds and then composed myself. And
it wasn't noticeable.
Oh, really?
The
Okay,
30-second wobble was not noticeable, no.
I knew that would be the case. I just knew it wasn't. I did contemplate asking, like, I'm confident that mine's within the 20-minute limit. Yeah. Do I need this massive, scary countdown timer?
Well, you did a practice run, didn't you, at the strategy days?
Yeah.
And you actually got some really helpful food. I didn't do it because that would have just made me way more nervous about doing the actual thing. But you got some really good feedback that I actually took on board for my talk as well. Do you want to talk through a little bit of the feedback that you got?
Yeah, so like you said, we had that sort of breakfast slot in the company strategy day where I went on stage and presented it. There was a few sort of glitches with the clicker, and so I ended up sort of standing to the side of the stage and just manually flicking the slides. But yeah, like I say, the feedback was brilliant. Just going to grab a coffee after and just everyone saying that was great, it just gave me that confidence I needed. Yeah. And in the hour before, so we had to go to our stages an hour before we were due to present. And I just actually had those like words of encouragement ringing in my ears, sort of thing, and sort of giving me that confidence. So that was really nice. And obviously, I spoke highly about the people that I had the same slot as, that they were really supportive, we were really looking out for each other. And that just sums up the industry for me, that it is people trying to give each other a leg up. And it was just so clear. And I thought the person you were on with was really supportive, and there was a nice sort of blend between his topic and yours, wouldn't you say? Yeah,
definitely. David was fantastic. And I mean, I think just in general, that conference is one of those places you can go and just feel like you fit in whatever you do as a job as well. Like, there's always other people that do the same thing and want to know and want to learn about what you're teaching them about or what you want to learn about. So like, going in that room thinking, oh, there's only 2 people on local SEO right at the end of Friday. Is everybody going to be, already a little bit tipsy from beers at lunch and, kind of done with the whole thing after 2 full days of lots of learning, and also the first in-person event in 2 years. I thought there wasn't going to be that many people there, but there were so many people there, and they were all so supportive and so engaged. The questions you get afterwards are great as well. Like, we had time for a Q&A session, and it was so nice just being able to answer questions off the cuff and not having to, as you can tell, I don't like preparing, not having to prepare answers and, really think about what I was saying. It was nice to be able to demonstrate knowledge straight off the bat,
I really enjoyed being in the audience for your one, because the people behind were sort of whispering and sort of saying, we just need to talk to her, we need to pick her brain on this. And obviously, normally it's sort of like the cinema etiquette, we're like, shh.
But you were like, keep going.
Yeah. But the fact that obviously, and that was within like 5 minutes of your talk, and throughout.
Yeah.
And then they approached you after, didn't they?
They did, yeah. They came over. They asked a bunch of questions in the Q&A bit, and then they also came over afterwards, asked more questions, and asked for a selfie. I have never in my entire life been asked if I could have a selfie with someone. Like I don't know. I felt like a celebrity. It was great, and I'm friends with them all on Twitter and LinkedIn now as well. So like, you know, new search besties.
Yeah.
You know, sorry.
Yeah, sorry, me and Phil.
Off you go.
But equally, I just love that photo that James got of you having the selfie.
I've got a photo of a photo being taken. I thoroughly enjoyed the whole experience. Actually, I think it was much more fun than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be more scary, but getting on stage and doing it and getting that feedback, like, it was really good.
Yeah,
really good in the end.
Had the disbelief because after I went on the stage, obviously yours was the last track of the day, but mine was sort of in the middle of the day. So I was going back to that stage later in the day, and I just couldn't believe that I was stood up there. I was like, surely not. Like,
it was weird watching you on
really?
stage,
Oh, really?
being sat, because I was sat right at the front, obviously. It was quite odd seeing you so high up and like just absolutely not necessarily in your element, but like really going for it and really exhibiting everything that you know. And you know, it was really nice to see. It was weird because I've obviously never seen you up on a massive stage before, but it was really cool. And I mean, the adrenaline from watching someone that, you know, you work closely with every day, someone that you know really well, doing something like that you know is scary.
Yeah.
That, I mean, it gave me a massive boost for doing mine.
I sort of had that post-event sort of slump. Yeah. I was exhausted.
You were so tired when you came out of there.
And I developed a cold.
Yeah.
Around that.
The sudden non-COVID overnight cold that you developed, like almost as soon as we got into the Airbnb, you were all sniffly and we were like, oh no.
Yeah, terrible timing.
Yeah, that was not good. But you know.
Sort of strangely in the presentation itself, obviously it was a big room, and it was funny because I could only really pick you and Josh out, and which was helped during my presentation. I had like quite a bit of attempted humour in there, and early on I thought there was one that might do a bit better than it did, and I'm pretty sure I could pick out the person that laughed. But thankfully it was better than that throughout.
Was it me who laughed?
No, it wasn't.
No. Oh, okay. I tried.
Yeah, not loud enough. But yeah, since then, like, it has been really nice. The feedback after was amazing. Just getting tagged in random LinkedIn, very professional network instead. And just people doing roundup posts and picking. I had one like 6 weeks on or whatever it's been now, and it was only published last week, and they'd picked mine out as one of 3 alongside like Stacey McNaught, the keynote.
Yeah,
it was
that's
just
mad.
like, it was crazy. But yeah, such a lovely sort of supportive network. But yeah, the morning of it was very scary. I had 4.5 hours sleep.
And a very dry subway.
Yeah, such was my overthinking brain that I thought sauce was out of the equation in a breakfast subway, just thinking that it might go out my clothes beforehand. And yeah, people would definitely pick that out on the stage.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. What would you do differently if you did it again?
It's difficult for me to say, but sort of not overthink it, sort of not try and... Like I said earlier, it's about the value that you're adding. Like if it is 15 minutes, but it's very valuable and it's very on topic, then stick to that. Trust your content, basically, as opposed to they're here. A lot of people travelled internationally for that. Like I definitely saw in like the speaker WhatsApp group that people come from like Brazil, and I was just like, you feel that pressure to be like, okay, they've travelled thousands of miles, they need a lot of value from this. But I was happy with that. But going forward, it's definitely going to be, this is what they need to know about this topic, as opposed to this is what they need for 20 minutes worth of value. And not to overthink it, not to sort of like stress about it as much. It did take over quite a bit, but everyone says that. When it's your first big conference, you are going to question it. I think sort of people like a Reed have said before, you get halfway through a presentation, like, is this valuable? But of course it is, like, you're an expert in that field.
Yeah.
So, yeah, probably that. What would you do differently? Same approach to preparation, or is that your way?
Same approach to preparation, do everything last minute, don't think about it. Because actually that curtailed a lot of my anxiety about the whole process, because I wasn't thinking about it all the time. But I think what I would do differently, maybe choose my outfit better.
Really? That's not something I would consider post.
Well, I had red hair and a red top on, and I looked.
Am I wearing a grey zip up or
never wear grey, something like that.
Yeah,
it stains forever. Yeah. I think I'd probably maybe do a couple more runs of my recording version.
We didn't speak about that.
The recorded versions.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, we can now. So that, like, when you're doing all the practice and stuff like that, and you're going through it all, and you do your online version, because they now do the online and the in-person as well. Recording that, I was like, one shot, it'll be fine. I did it maybe 3 or 4 times, and I think I could have done a better job at doing that. I think if I just
you're not happy with your online version?
I just think it could be better.
But then you're inevitably going to bounce off the audience a bit more.
Yeah, the in-person one was so much better that I'm like, I could have done that recorded version so much better, but...
I think I was the same. The recorded one was really quite stressful. Like,
it was hard.
With an audience of 0.
Yeah.
But just knowing, because at that stage it was still a couple of weeks before the actual event, and we were inevitably going to tweak it slightly. So you sort of had to set it. I really liked that, actually, because that was sort of the line in the sand where don't tweak it too much following this, because it'll be out of sync, sort of thing. But yeah, I think it was on the Friday when we had to submit it. I had my content, the slides, in a good place, thanks to James Bath, director at Strategist. He helped me format a lot of it. I'm always confident with the content that I've included in my presentation, but the actual formatting was ropey. So he massively saved the day there. And then I think I started to record it about 6:30, and then kept going wrong, and then starting again. And then when I finally got it to a good place, bear in mind the deadline was midnight that night, it got to about 11:20 or something, and I finally got a good version of it. Listened back to it, and I was a bit aggressive with flicking between slides. So the fudding was...
The hammering of the keys was
a bit much.
Yeah.
And I said that when I shared my presentation. I was like, I'm quite happy with it, but if the fudding or aggressive sort of switching of slides is too much, I'm happy to do another one, which they asked me to do.
Yeah.
So it wasn't me overthinking, it was definitely needed. Whereas you did it first time, got it sent off.
Well, not first time, 4th time.
Oh, really?
But still.
That's different to what you said at the time when I was still going at 11:20.
Oh, yeah, but you'd done like 100 presentations. So, it was... I just wanted to make you feel bad. No, yeah, I think I like that. I like the format of doing the online and the in-person, but I think I'd want to record the online after the in-person one.
And it's also a second wave of feedback as well. Obviously, a lot of people couldn't attend in person, so I was going, this is really good. People were saying, why are you laughing at your own jokes in your recording? I actually got that feedback from a friend,
Aww.
But like jokingly.
I hope you're still.
What are you supposed to do? Right?
You're a funny man.
And so would you do it again?
Yeah, 100%. I've already applied.
Really?
Yeah. I've sent them 3, maybe 4 topics. I can't remember.
I remember when the first sort of discussion about doing it again came up. And that was about 2 weeks after the event. And I was like, please, Levi, can we leave it for a little while? Let the dust settle before I can think about going through that again. As amazing as it was, I definitely was not in a place to think, I know my topic. That's the big thing for me. I need to know my topic. But I think there's a lot of flexibility. It's around this area, is that of interest, and then defining it going forwards. But
Yeah, I think I remember coming off the stage and being like, I'm going to do this again.
Really?
Yeah, straight away. I loved it.
I think that's the key though, because I think I've heard it from like Andy and people like that. If you put yourself up for an event like that, where it's taken a lot out of you to get to that stage, you need to sort of strike while the iron's hot and just keep doing similarly scary stuff before you sort of leave it 6 months, go back to how you were before, then the imposter syndrome, whatever else creeps in, and then you've got to build yourself up again. But if you do one and then flip to another one, then hopefully you can sort of ride that optimism wave, basically.
Yeah. Do you think you'd do it again?
I definitely would do it again. I did think spring might be a bit soon, but seeing emails flying around and people getting accepted and how exciting it is. And we have got a bit more of a window rather than leaving it last minute.
Yeah, it's not 2 months before the event.
So yeah, I'd definitely do it again.
Yeah.
And yeah, if given the opportunity.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Nice.